Hey everybody, welcome back. I am your host, Joe JDF Foster, and today we're going to be tackling the movie The Call. And it is and I'm just going to dive right in, and there will be slight spoiler alerts probably, as given my history without me actually noticing at times. So I apologize in advance for that, but also warn you. As I stated, the title of this movie is The Call, or in South Korea, where it was actually made, just Call. And it's on Netflix. It's currently airing on Netflix, and eh, it's uh, it's listed as a horror genre, but I disagreed with this call to some extent. It fits into the horror genre in some areas, in that it does the surprise scares a little bit better than a lot of films that have done it have. But the other idea that they had for it in other places, such as the Korean marketplace and other film industries, where they've listed it as a thriller and a crime drama, a crime film, those I can agree with completely. Also, because of what's in the film and how it happens, I could even give this a sci-fi to some extent. Okay, the whole plot of the film actually revolves around two people who are connected by a landline phone. Nice little cordless phone from back in the day that you would pick up, dial the numbers, talk to each other. Well, it turns out they're living in the same house, just in different times. Though it gets interesting as the film goes on, and you see a connection between the two, besides this phone. But, anyways, the main plot of the story, the two people are connected by a landline and they alter history. Though, maybe not for the better. While I would like to give notes on this film, like I usually do with other films, there were none really to be found. Because this film being so new. But from but my notes personally on it, I love the scenery and the choice of locations they used in the film to give it the feel and draw you into it. And now, as for my other notes, my traditional notes on this, good notes, the flow on it's nice, and it also shows the dangers of altering history and time, which many of us have thought of. Hey, if I could go back and do this, I would. Or if I could do this differently, what would happen? This shows that. Also, it teaches the viewer, or it shows the viewer, how some things aren't what they seem. While I do not recommend watching this with children, if they had seen this, it would show them the stranger danger theory to some extent. Only it doesn't show it with them actually. It doesn't show the idea of actually seeing the stranger in person. This just shows it like with the internet. With this one, it shows it like with the phone being used. But the same idea could be used to meeting people in public, meeting people over the internet, things like that. Now, the bad things about it, the way this movie was done, it actually made me think of a film that came out in the 90s or the 2000s. I'm not sure. But I know they did a thing on. I know they did a TV series based on the movie, and it's called Frequency, where a man is talking to his father in the past, and they alter history trying to catch a criminal that killed the boy's mother. But this one is slightly different, but at the same time, like I said, it made me think of it a lot of the time in the film. Despite that, and some areas of it were more predictable than they should have been, and it just it kind of hurt the film for them to be that predictable. And as I stated earlier, it's listed as a horror film, but I personally think it's debatable as being listed as that. While I'll agree with thriller, crime, and even sci-fi. But the horror film, I have to disagree with. My recommendation, the film's well worth watching, and I give it an A. Because it was actually well done, even with the predictable areas that hurt it. At the same time, with this film, the reason why I gave it a grade up and said that it's well worth watching, even though it reminded me of Frequency, and that it was predictable, is that to me, I didn't know these actors, and I didn't know the actresses in this film for anything before this. But I would actually, if I could get a hold of anything they've done since, I mean, anything they do in the future or anything they've done in the past, I would actually watch it to see their acting abilities in that. But it's also because this film in itself is actually a very good thing. And I highly recommend actually watching it in the actual Korean with the subtitles. And I know a lot of people are going to complain probably like, oh, why should I have to watch it with subtitles? That makes no sense. I know people like that who think that watching something with subtitles is bad. Personally, I think they're wrong. Just because it has subtitles doesn't mean it's bad. But if you don't like reading subtitles, don't watch the film initially. But good thing about this film is it does have alternate things, and it does have alternate audio, and I'm fairly certain one of the audios is English among them for those viewers who don't like subtitles that are in America. So you can actually read it. So you don't have to worry about reading it. But still, I recommend the Korean with the subtitles because then you're getting the full feel of the film. Before I go, I would like to state that I do plan to try next week to do a live stream, and I actually am going to open the floor on this. I don't do live streaming like video games while streaming and things like that because I actually want to talk to you guys and maybe open up the floor to answer questions you may have that you would want me to answer. So that's just to let you know. And if I do it right, I'll probably be doing it around noon or 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. So anywhere between 12 and 2, more than likely. Just to let you guys know. And again, that's Central Standard Time in the U.S. So until then, I'm out.